Hey guys, what's up? This is Gabe Rodarte with Vertical House Buyers and North Houston Real Estate Investors. I have the Scott Horne with me this morning at a wonderful country club in the background. He's just chilling out, drinking his coffee. And we're just talking to really encourage you guys to come out to the North Houston Real Estate Investors Meetup. This is this coming Monday. So this is a quarterly event that we do. That is to really, it's the way that we give back because Scott, I've learned a lot from Scott, but really there's a lot of value in giving back to the community that you support. And so just a ton of value there. So just to let y'all know, we have the quarterly event, NHREI. It's the largest event that we do in North Houston. Okay. We have speakers, which Scott's going to be there. We have Joni with me. I got book giveaways that I'm going to do to some really cool books that I've been coming across that will help you in your investing career. And then also we have some crazy stuff I wanted to do differently because I thought about how can we give back. So we're going to be doing some cool stuff where we have 30-minute sessions with Scott, right? And 30-minute session with Joni, 30-minute session with me that we're going to give away. So you need to be there so you can be part of this. And we'll do it's going to be kind of like a raffle type giveaway where you come in and figure out how to get in hold of Scott Horne is not an easy thing to do. But if you were to win it, guarantee you 30 minutes can transform your life, especially being with the most creative guy that I know in just financing and doing deal flows and other stuff. So Scott, you're here. All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. So guys, let's just hear a little bit about, I don't want to go about, hey, what do you do? Because that's like pretty broad. So what are you doing right now? That's the most funnest thing that you're working on in your business. Cause you've been around for a long time. So do a quick intro. And then what are you doing? That's why are you waking up every day right now?
I prefer to sleep later, especially here in Dallas today when it's kind of cold and rainy.
Yeah.
But as we already talked about earlier, I had to get down to a house down in the southeast part of Dallas and meet my contractors that I unfortunately got back. And of course, it's a mess and having to do everything to it. But just for your audience, I've been very fortunate to be in the real estate investment industry. I am a real estate and title attorney, which is, profession I was supposed to be in besides being an engineer from way back, and got into our business by default. But we are real estate investors. We've done probably 3,500 single family homes that we've bought, remodeled, and those are usually one at a time. We got into the asset-based or hard money lending business back in 1997. Just because you couldn't buy any more houses. We were already doing 20 plus a month back then. And somehow grew to be the largest hard money lender in Texas at that time under a name Funding Partners, and shut down back in 2009 when the crash hit for obvious reasons. And had to go through all that bloodbath. But
right.
Because of that, Gabe, what saved us in that crash days that so many guys in our position didn't, because we had 700 properties in portfolio at that time.
Wow.
And I will tell you that the investor community walked away wholesale from their hard money loans, which means we inherited them, had to know we got them, had to go to every city in the state of Texas, meet contractors, find people, find solutions to the problem. Wow. And the solution for us then, Gabe, was seller financing. Now, we had done seller financing for years and years and years before. It was just our model that we learned to do things. But one of the things I learned was, although seller financing is conservative, it was truly a wealth building scenario.
Cool.
And at that time, not to bore you or the audience too much, I mean, everybody in Dallas and Fort Worth came to me going, how do we solve our problems?
Right.
And this was the solution, but nobody knew what the fix was or how to do it. So we put together the programs to handle this business the right way. And that, I never expected that to explode. Our home acquisitions were huge back in the late 80s, 90s, early 2000s. I never anticipated hard money lending to take off like it did and for us to catapult where we were. I never expected the owner finance business to explode like it has and to become that go-to guy in Texas to help the investor community doing that.
Right.
And what's been very interesting is you take that period of time, Gabe, from 2009 to today, that 10, 11, 12-year period. Of course, you came out of the crash in 13, 14, things slowly took off. And of course, no one expected the market to do what it's doing right now either.
Right.
No one. Just like nobody expected the crash to hit in 08, 09, at least not normal guys like you and me. No one expected this to catapult. And of course, it has become an extremely competitive marketplace, not so much because of us investors, but the hedge funds came in, bought up everything. The Californians and the New Yorkers and whomever else was moving to Texas
Right.
is buying up everything, driving our prices up, which makes our job very hard. Now, what we are finding out there and what is fun to talk about is in the 08, 09 crash, seller financing was a huge opportunity in acquiring homes.
Right.
Today, a little bit more difficult, but unfortunately, with all the stuff going on in the economy, the forbearance is going away. At some point, the government giveaways have to go away. And I think there's going to be a huge opportunity in the marketplace for us investors to take advantage of that if we know how to do things the right way. What's fun today is the creativity you have to acquire homes, at least here in the DFW marketplace. And because it means it's learning how to navigate various legal issues, liens, probates, etc.,
Right.
to acquire homes. It's taking 10 times the brain power that it used to do. But for me, I love that mental exercise, putting that deal together. Let's just call it the art of the deal, right? And it's kind of fun to do that. I didn't send that mosquito, whatever it was, to.
I don't know what it was either.
But it's fun doing that today. Because of the complexities here in the North Texas marketplace, you're having to go out to secondary marketplaces sometimes to acquire homes. And we've been setting up strategic partnerships throughout the Texas marketplace where we're able to bring to the table a knowledge and expertise that most people don't have. They want it. And it's a matter of bringing resources to the table to help our new partners build and grow themselves. And the old philosophy is, Howard Hughes used to say is, I'd rather have 100 people giving me 1% of their time than one person giving me 100% of the time. So kind of a similar philosophy. We're able to work with the right partners in the right jurisdictional areas, whether it's Central Texas, San Antonio, Corpus, whatever. And I'd rather own half of something than 100% of nothing. And so we have been putting this together in that format and doing what we do. And what's been fun is that after all these years, what we call the note sale marketplace is coming back, selling mortgages. That died in the real estate crash of 09. It just disappeared for years and years.
Mm-hmm.
It is a resurgence coming back in.
When have you seen that come back in, though? Is this like last 6 months, last year, really?
It has been a resurgence over the last 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
Where it's been taking off and it's going back again. Like it was back, and again, I know I'm dating myself, but this was huge back in the 1990s.
Okay, cool.
There's people want to own real estate. They want to own mortgages. They just don't know how to buy. So they'd rather buy a mortgage, get a nice return on income without having to do all the work.
Cool.
And it's a great opportunity when it's learned to do it the right way. And when I look back in my career, seriously, I never planned to do the volume we did, but what got us there was learning how to buy, repair houses, use creative financing, sell mortgages, keep mortgages. And when you analyze your history, you go, holy cow, I've done it all, Gabe. I mean, I've done a little bit of wholesale, the fix and flip, owned hundreds of rental properties at one time. I get all that. I just like that creative finance world because I can make 3, 4, 5 times more money on one deal than I can on a regular fix and flip.
Right.
It's fun to talk to investors today about that, how it works, why it's profitable. Just did a seminar down in Houston with Eddie Steed, who's huge in the note business as well. And it was great to talk to the investor group there about how this stuff works and why and where things are going. And so for me, you said to get out of bed every morning, it's about creating relationships with people, which is hard to do because what you find in business, Gabe, and I know you know this, is I'm sure people come to you and look to you for expertise and whatnot, but they want you to do all the work. And, you know, I'm one of those guys that's like, no, I want, if we're going to get in bed with somebody and do things, it has to be a true partnership, working together. It's not all about me, it's about us. But you have to get out and meet these people. You know, I know we talked about this earlier, but
Right.
me, that's about networking.
Right.
You know, you get deal flow. You never know where a property is going to come from. And I find today by just getting out and meeting people,
Right.
giving back to people, helping them, it brings in deal flow. It gets your name out in the marketplace again, like in our asset-based lending world for note funding and what we do.
Right.
But it's all about helping people get there. You know, in our hard money lending operations, we do things different than most lenders. Rates and terms are all about the same, although I think we're right now very, very inexpensive in the marketplace. But it's about helping that investor analyze their deal, get through it, and hopefully be profitable. You know, you can lead a horse to water, right?
Right.
Can't always make them drink. And sometimes these investors, they don't want to listen. They want to do things their own way. All we can do is point out the errors of what they're doing.
Right.
I can't make them do something different. But our goal is to help them understand what to do, how to do it, get it to market so they can make money. That's what it's all about. It's not about paying interest to guys like us. How do you get there? And it's fun. I mean, I hate to keep using that word fun, but it's fun, Gabe.
It is fun.
I love buying houses and rehabbing them. I love making a loan on a property to an investor, walking them through the deal, helping them analyze that deal so they can go out and make money on it. Because the worst thing is they get into a deal, they lose money, and they walk away from the industry.
You know, okay, so let's stop for a second real quick. And I want to dive into this. For those guys who don't know Scott, this is pretty much him. Like he will definitely help you go through stuff. And that's just not just a plug, but one of the coolest things, we're having dinner when we're in Dallas, having dinner. And man, we spent 2 hours really easily, like just like that, talking about creative strategies and creativity, sharing stories. Hey, I got this one over here. This is how something happened. You're telling plenty of your stories that you have that are like, okay, that reminds me of a project I did over here. And this is how we went about doing it. And so you have the experience of doing it, but I guess I'm still amazed by you sometimes by the fact that you still love doing the creative strategies all the time. For me, I could get bogged down into like I'm looking at deeds. Like the other night I was staying up late looking at deeds and going, okay, who owns what portion and how's this going? And this is, 20-acre tract turned into a 30-acre tract because this was done incorrectly back then, all these different things. And you've done a lot of these things and you're like, and Gabe, you also could do, and then you add this whole nother sphere of things. And I'm like, never even understood or even thought about doing it. That's what I like about having conversation with you, because it's always growth mindset, growing, like even at how long you've been doing this. And you're like, no, there's more creative ways to do it than even the ones I know now. I know how to do this, but let's try to change things up even more so. So that's one of the things I do. And then you were talking about networking. And guys, I want to go back to Monday night. I mean, this is really us just talking about, hey, connecting what you love doing, what's exciting, what's happening in the marketplace, why you see kind of a resurgence of some things and how it's different because it's 2021. So there's a resurgence, but there's also a little bit of there's a 2021 flair to it, right? I mean, it's an updated flair. Technology, other things have been help it move a little bit quicker than before. Some things make it a little bit more complicated than before. And so this is kind of, go ahead.
Gabe was going to say, in our industry, So many investors have a singular mindset. I am a wholesaler and that's all I do. By the way, there's nothing wrong with that by any means.
Right.
Do what you do it well, make money. But you also want to look, how might everyone get ahead of the game and get off of the hamster wheel? There are those guys that all they do is fix and flip. I get it. There's nothing wrong with that. And
Right.
sometimes in markets like this, you can do that.
Right.
But one thing I've learned over the years is that you have to change with the times. The markets change, the
Right.
economies change, demands change. Sometimes there might be a place when it's time to do more fix and flip than buy and hold. But eventually you want to get to that point where you get long-term reoccurring positive cash flow is the
Right.
ultimate goal for everybody. How are you going to do that? Where are you going to do it? But it's also learning how to break out of that mold a little bit.
Right.
Try to watch what's going on in the markets because they do change. We've got to be able to get there. And you want the investor world to think about that. And there's never a right or wrong way to do our business.
Right.
It's going to be what's right for that particular person out there.
Right.
And for me, it's just fun to make sure they understand that, show them other ways so that when they come across opportunities in the back of their mind, they go, oh, maybe I could do X or Y or Z.
Right.
And that's where you want investors to think. You know, whether you're trying to do land flips or break up land and sell with seller financing, or you're doing rental property or whatever it might be. And by the way, in our world, there's not a whole lot of new things that come up. Everybody wants you to think there are new ways.
Right.
But real estate is real estate is real estate.
Right.
It's not really changing.
Right.
Maybe different ways to navigate it, making some decisions along the way to do that. And to me, that's the fun part. But it's also like, you know, when we were sitting down the other day here in Dallas and even down there in Houston a few months back, it is fun just to talk about stories. Right. Because that's how you learn so much. You know, how'd you screw that deal up? And let me just tell you what, I have messed up a lot of deals, you know, and how can you avoid that mess up in the future? And sometimes, even though I preach it myself, I still fall into the same trap.
Right. Right. Yeah. We all run into this stuff. So to not give any more golden nuggets away, guys, we're going to have, if you think that Scott can help you out with a couple of things. Now, he didn't mention it, but what have you done? Over 10,000 transactions, you've said?
Well, we've done, you know, 3,500 acquisitions, some 4,000 hard money loans.
Oh, wow.
In my law firm, we've closed some 10,000 creative transactions from lease options, contractor needs,
calm down,
creative to whatever.
So guys,
you can't see all this white up here, but I've heard every damn one of those.
Every one of those is a sleepless year, by the way.
Yeah. We had some of those.
Yeah, I bet. So guys, this coming Monday, the idea is to learn from successes, and tomorrow we'll go over Joni's stuff, and I want to hear a lot from Joni. But today, Scott is basically just sharing stuff of going, just kind of explaining there's so much wealth of knowledge that he has to help you build your business. So between now and then, Scott is coming up with some stuff that's kind of like, okay, what are some things that I see this generation needs to focus on to learn from the successes, learning to adapt, you know, top 3 things that he thinks that's going to happen, that, or not going to happen, but that we should learn, skill sets that we should learn, things that we should do. Because I think that if you break it down to a practical thing, Scott, there's just some things like sometimes you just have to show up and learn. Right. And just have that mindset. Okay, well, what does that look like? Right. And then show up and network. Okay, what does real networking look like? Okay, now show up and what's real building relationships look like? And so these are things that, guys, we're going to go over this Monday. So you don't want to miss it. Scott's going to be there. All right. And so if you want to, you know, bug him, all right, later on in the night, because the doors open at 5:30, speakers start at 6:30. So we'll have time afterwards for sure, because we're not going to be speaking all night. We'll have time afterwards to grab a beer, grab a drink. And Scott mentioned something earlier. Some of the best transactions, deals, and information was done while grabbing a drink, grabbing food with someone, and it's, in the lobby of the hotel, just kind of mixing it up with somebody else and learning new things. And so guys, this coming Monday, sign up below. We have the link below. Sign up and we'll see you guys there. Scott, you got anything to say?
No, look forward to it. And Gabe, I hate to say things like the real deals get done at the bar, but for 100 years now, or however long it's been, you go to the club meetings, you listen. It used to be there'd be these national speakers that would come in always, whether it was in Dallas, was Houston, Austin, San Antonio. That was the thing. And they were actually teaching and giving legit information. Today, things have changed a little bit, but after you got in there, the investors who are newer to the business need to listen and learn, right? You got to gather information.
Yeah.
But at some point in time, you've gathered enough information. Now you got to go meet the right people.
Right.
Realize what is out in the marketplace. Who are my go-tos? And we have to learn so much in this industry, from acquisitions to marketing to sales to documents. I could go on and on about all this kind of stuff. But at some point, you got to get out and go, who are the real people that do this stuff?
Right.
So many people in business are gatherers. They're not doers. And you want people to get off their butt and go do it and put that fear factor behind them.
Right.
And it's hard to get past that sometimes. I was very young when I got started in this. I say young, I don't know, 20. I got started in real estate about 24, 25. Single, wasn't married. So I had a lot more opportunities as somebody might be 40 who's married and 2 kids with more responsibilities. And there's a way to navigate all that stuff appropriately. They don't need to be Scott Hornes. They don't need to be Gabe Rodartes. You can be somewhere in between and still be very successful in this business. And but meeting people, having go-to resources that are trustworthy, and the key word trustworthy, reliable. And there's so much misinformation in the marketplace out there. Everything on the internet's true, right?
Not true.
Oh, come on. That took you too long, Gabe.
It did.
But I run into that so often, where investor A is talked to investor B, is talked to investor C, and the problems just propagate. By the way, not always, but it's vetting the right people, meeting the right people who are really there to help you benefit.
Yeah.
It's not about using them and their time and whatnot. But if you have a question, knowing who to go to, beneficial.
Totally.
It helps all of us. And you have to meet those. How do you meet them? The other thing is when you come to meetings like yours, you got to open your mouth and actually meet people.
You can't just sit there and things, guys. If you come to our event, I'll push you a little bit to go out there and networking and stuff. There's plenty of times where I'll see people grab a drink, they'll grab dinner, and they'll go and sit down, or they'll grab a snack, and and I'm like, look, this is the place. Like, this is the place to mix and mingle and to meet people and to do stuff. This only happens once a quarter, so we need to get out there and do it. But guys, okay, so this coming Monday, we'll see you there. Link below. See ya, North Houston real estate investors. See you guys. Peace.